Gaano kalaki yung Guangzhou sa Metro Manila at saka yung population?
Nako, you got me there. Hindi ko po alam ang land area ng Guangzhou, pero alam ko po na isa po siyang megacity. Ang megacity po, ang population ay 12 to 15 million. Kaya Metro Manila is a megacity. Is it comparable with Metro Manila? I would say, okay. Would you like to answer? Okay. Meron po kaming mga ibang kasama sa Guangzhou na maaring sumagot ng tanong ni Pio. Kung comparable daw po ba ang Guangzhou sa Metro Manila? Sino po ang gustong sumagot? Deo?
Yeah, I think it's comparable. But in terms of, ano ba to? Yung, ano sila ano to? Inland city. They don't have shores. Landlocked city. Unlike Metro Manila, we have Manila Bay. But in terms of population, there's 16 million of population. We have 14 in Metro Manila. We have 3 million in Cavite. So roughly, we're bigger in terms of population size if we consider the whole of Mega Manila. Okay.
Thank you, Deo. We'd like to give an opportunity for some of the Guangzhou study tour participants. This is their chance to reflect on what they saw there. Okay. Who would like to start? Sino pa? Pasig? Maybe someone from Pasig? Okay. Thank you po.
I'm also included on the study tour. Siguro, masasabi ko lang po, kung sa comparison sa Guangzhou at saka sa Metro Manila, like sa Pasig, nakita rin po namin yung kanilang, yung greenways po at saka yung kanilang mga creeks. Ang kagandahan lang po kasi sa kanila, yung mga creeks nila, dinevelop, pwedeng pasyalan, nalalakaran, at ang kamangha-mangha po doon, yung mga bata naliligo doon sa creek nila. Dahil napakalinaw at napakalinis po. Pero dito po sa atin, yung mga estero po, parang nakakatakot pong lakaran. Kaya po, siguro, isa sa may pagmamalaki namin sa Pasig na pwedeng i-compare doon is naayos po ng aming syudad, yung aming pong Parian Creek. May kukompare po namin na siguro nalinis po namin yung paligid noon. Sa ngayon po, ito po ay isang mahabang creek na pwede po kayong mamasyal, mag-jogging, mag-bike, yung Parian Creek po, na may ahalin tulad po namin sa Guangzhou. Plus, siguro, yung pong pagkakumpara lang natin, siguro yung pag-aayos ng ating sidewalk. Pwede pong i-apply dito sa Metro Manila yon, kaya lang siguro matinding political will ang kailangan ng mga namumuno natin dito. Dahil doon siguro, mas sa maigsing panahon na pinagplanuhan nila yun, pero naisagawa nila dahil siguro sa pagkakaisa nila. Ka-experience po namin talagang simula po doon sa umpisahan po naming lakarin hanggang po doon sa papunta po ng BRT station nila, yung pinakang opisina, wala ho kaming makikitang napakakitid na sidewalk compared po dito. So, base po sa aking experience, tinry ko pong ikutin from Baclaran to Monumento kung mauubra ba natin sa EDSA. Medyo nagkaroon ako ng konting idea. Kailangan lang siguro pagkakaisa pero may isa sa katuparan po natin dito sa Metro Manila yun. Sa pamamagitan po siguro ng project na to, pwede po nating maisagawa rin. Kung naisagawa po sa kanila, pwede rin po nating gayahin dito. Siguro mag-umpisa lang po tayo sa level ng per barangay. Kaya po kami sa Pasig, ini-encourage po namin dahil po sa effort po ng aming mayor, mahilig po siyang magbisikleta. So sa experience namin doon, in-apply po namin na every month sa Pasig, in-encourage namin ang aming mga taong mga Pasigueño na nagkakaroon kami ng Bike for Life monthly para po i-promote yung biking as a healthy non-motorized transport. Kaya meron po kaming ginagawa every month Bike for Life para sa ngayon po, mas marami na pong nagbibisikleta sa amin papunta po sa kanilang mga trabaho kung malapit lang po. Plus yung sinasagawa po naming Carless Day. Meron na po kaming naumpisahan sa F. Ortigas Junior Road, dyan po sa Ortigas Center. Every Sunday po, Carless Sunday po yan. At dapat po sa Sunday, kaya lang na-postpone lang, sa September 30 po, meron kaming panibagong ila-launch na Carless Day, Carless Street, yung pong aming Caruncio Avenue, both direction, sa harap po ng City Hall. Magiging Carless Day na po kami every Sunday. So meron na po kaming 2 streets na Carless Day every Sunday po. So yun lang po ang aming may share ko po base po sa aming experience sa Guangzhou.
Maraming salamat po galing sa Pasig City. Meron po bang taga Marikina na gusto magsalita kung ano ang nakita sa Guangzhou na maaaring gawin sa Marikina? Lota po.
Una, yung napansin namin dun sa Guangzhou, dun pala walang Chinatown. Pero ang talagang para nag-stand out, panay halaman, panay puno. Pati yung mga skyways nila, both sides panay mga halaman. And yung sabi ni Vic kanina ng Pasig, ang bilis nila nagawa kasi komunista dun eh. Dito hindi pwede eh. Democratic dito eh. Doon, pag hindi ka sumunod, kaya nga doon wala nang tricycle. Kasi naging problema yung motorcycle. Kasi daw naging problema rin nila yung riding in tandem. Pero ang ginawa nila, binayback nila yung mga motorcycles from yung mga residente nila, tapos binenta nila outside. Siguro sa Philippines or sa ibang provinces. Pero hopefully, yung pangarap namin, yung greenways, sinasabi ko nga, nag-usap kami dito, kung pwede, yung from San Mateo kasi, hanggang Manggahan, meron yung tinatawag na Daang Bakal. Kaya Daang Bakal kasi, daanan ng PNR dati yun eh. May merong doon, rail ng train. So, ngayon, marami nang nakatira doon. Pero, ang pangarap namin is, ito maging greenway to from San Mateo all the way to Manggahan. I feel na magkaroon ng natural redevelopment yung place. Kasi kung non-motorized lang ang allowed, like bicycles and yung pedestrians, very safe na ngayon. Kasi like sa Marikina, although more than 60 kilometers yung bikeways network namin, may mga portions na, ang tawag doon, road share, nandun sa JP Rizal. Ang dami mga jeep na dumadaan. So kung with this bike highway, magiging mas safe na ngayon para sa mga cyclists. Thank you.
Thank you, Paul. Any other participants from Guangzhou want to say something? Where is Aaron? Aaron? Aaron. Hi, Aaron. Aaron was with us. And, okay. It's your turn, Aaron, to describe what you saw in Guangzhou that you think is applicable here in Metro Manila.
Sisihin ko si Dings. Sisihin ko si Dings. I guess if you look at it, Guangzhou has the advantage of having had they have a nice system. I guess what we can do in that has been done in Guangzhou that can easily be done here are greenways. And I guess also we can also implement wider walkways to encourage walking. It is important, I guess, that when we build our mass transit systems, it's easy to reach them. So I guess walkways, connectors, and the like, these are very possible for us to do. And we also, I guess, one of the things that we have to, that we noticed in Guangzhou was the footbridge. The footbridges they have there, they're very, very wide. Sobrang lapad ng footbridge nila. Around 8 meters wide ang lapad ng mga walkways nila. Kung sa atin, mga wala pang 2 meters ata. And then, sa kanila, yung walkway nila is, it's smooth. No? Compared to us, it's metal na sa MMDA, it's metal, and then pag umuulan, bumabaha na doon. And I think everybody is feeling uncomfortable the type of walkways we have. Kaya nga, ang dami pa rin that choose to walk along the well, it's not even pedestrian. Even if nilagyan pa ng MMDA, nakakamatay ito or may namatay na dito, people still choose to do that because it's very uncomfortable to go up, move across a badly built walkway or footbridge and then go down the other side. Yeah, and they even have outdoor escalators in certain portions of the city of Guangzhou. Yes, these are the things that we can take from Guangzhou.
Hi, good afternoon, Len. I'm Deo. Just one thought on the BRT, ano? BRT uses an exclusive lane of the road, no? So walang pwedeng gumamit ng kalsada other than the bus. And these buses have a schedule. They don't compete with their passengers. Unlike in our system, actually we promote competition. We allow private cars to use bus lanes. So yun yung contrast, no? So right now, we're in a dilemma na itutuloy ba natin yung sistema natin ng pag-award ng mga prangkisa na dapat maglaban-laban yung mga buses sa kalsada para makakuha ng pasahero. So I think that's a major decision point for all of us working in government, no? Are we going to support a bus system that will have exclusive use of the corridor? Big sabihin, parang we will monopolize the use or the corridor, no? The use of the corridor. Ilan po? Thank you.
Okay. Lot of interesting questions here.
No, yung unang pumasok sa isip ko during the very informative presentation, yung gaano kalaking factor ba yung politika rito? Kasi yung political system sa China at sa Guangzhou, syempre ibang-iba sa atin, no? And of course, dito sa Metro Manila, we have some peculiar political structures. We do have an MMDA which tries to centralize some functions, but at the same time, may mga pasaway tayong mga mayor na hindi nakikisama sa traffic system. So you have places in Pasig or maybe Marikina that have pockets of progress based on sound policy, but these are applied inconsistently because bawat lugar ay may kanya-kanyang mayor and policymakers and local councils and all of that na I guess that are part of a democratic system versus the authoritarian system in China. So, okay, aside from the technical solutions that have been discussed, gaano kalaking factor ba sa ganyang klaseng modelo ang politika? And if it's such a big factor, is it actually realistic for us to aspire for such a progressive situation with the kind of messy politics and democratic system that we have? So, yun ang tanong ko. It's mostly about the political aspect of all of this. Kasi nga, maganda nga tingnan, but parang hindi masyado nating napag-usapan yung gaano ka iba yung kanilang political system that enables them to kind of apply these kinds of solutions across the board with perhaps not much democratic consultation. Katulad sa atin, it's even difficult to move informal settlers. Kasi mga botante yan. So some of the mayors don't want to cooperate on these kinds of things. And to do this kind of development, you really have to move a lot of people around. Diba? And if you have the kind of politics that we have, it's really going to take forever. Diba?
Thank you, Howie, for that very difficult question. I do not feel I am in any position to respond to it. I will pass the mic on to Doc Doy.
Ako muna, pagkatapos din Tony. Well, we have LRTs and MRTs, and they are more difficult to construct than the BRT. And they tell us, ITDP tells us, you can really, if you had the political will, you can put up one in 8 months. You don't have to wait the amount of time that you put a BRT. I think it's a matter of coming up with quick wins and being able to demonstrate it works, and then the support will pour in, then it's going to happen. Ang Pilipino says, show me. Diba? And then, of course, yung BRT, ang bayad doon sa mga buses by kilometer run. Kaya may pasahero ko hindi per kilometer, hindi per passenger. So, walang pakialam yung mga driver kung sinusundan lang nila yung schedule. Diba? Kaya walang agawan. Bakit ka makikipag-agawan? You're not paid by commission basis. So, I think that's what kaya ng Pilipino yan. I think if we don't do it during this administration, it might be difficult. So we have the opportunity to do it.
Echo ko lang yung sinabi ni Doy, no? So obviously sa atin hindi mangyayari yung top-down na tulad ng China na pero yung from ground below na demand, di ba? I think is the one will work here, di ba? And that's the whole purpose nga of a conference like this, of the work like this, to be able, medyo fascinating, di ba? Yung kung gaano ang dami ng voices tungkol dito all over the metropolis, and I think it's about time to put the voices together to achieve this, yung mga winnable. Kasi kung doable lang, doable, di ba? Because these are not mga rocket science. And I agree completely. Mas mahirap gawin, even in terms of moving people, mas mahirap gawin yung MRT, LRT, yung mga pinaplano kaysa mga quick wins na pwedeng gawin with BRT and others. No?